How's it going, folks? Adrian here. Welcome back to the channel. We have a massive news drop to get through together because next week is going to be big. I hope you guys are having a good weekend so far, so let's get straight to it. Beginning with Final Fantasy XIV. The early access for the Shadowbringers expansion is next week, and with it being so close, Square Enix has been ramping up their marketing at full speed ahead worldwide. And this past week, we got to see some of that. The big one, of course, features Tom Holland, aka Spider-Man, and Hannibal Buress preparing for Shadowbringers in this new live-action trailer, which is pretty cool.
Why are you doing this?
For Shadowbringers, dude. I'm training to be the warrior of darkness.
Over in Japan, the remake movie version of a similar 2014 Netflix show of the same premise called Final Fantasy XIV Dad of Light is now showing in theaters, and it follows the story of a father and son who bond through the MMORPG. So with it being out this weekend, expect the hype over here in the Far East to be through the roof. And do check out the Netflix version too. I hear it's pretty good if you need something to watch during the maintenance on the 27th and 28th of June when the servers go down for the expansion patch. And finally, for Shadowbringers, the game also now has an anime commercial, and it's only part 1 out of a series of 3 that will continue on the 27th and when the expansion launches on July 2nd. This is it. Nothing screams like a new expansion than the smell of fresh marketing trailer videos. Moving on now, after months of talking and PDR previews and data mining, we finally have a release date for World of Warcraft's patch 8.2 Rise of Azshara, and it's coming next week on June 25th, which by the way is the date when a ton of other stuff will be dropping, as you will see in this vid. But hey, it's finally coming. 8.2 will include the 2 new zones, SWTOR and Mechagon, the continuation of the war campaigns, heroic warfronts, 2 new island expeditions, new heritage armor for Tauren and gnomes, new pet dungeon, new reputations, Pathfinder Part 2 to unlock flying, mount equipment, benthic gear, Heart of Azeroth ascent system, and that's just the start. Needless to say, this is a very big update for Battle for Azeroth, and one hopes it will be good. Ion Hazikosta has also put out a really deep video this past week talking about all the new content in 8.2, plus class design philosophy and direction, which I found really interesting, and it sounds like Blizzard tinkered too much with class designs and now they want to revert back to making classes fun again, just like old times, or at least that's my takeaway from that part of the video. So I'll post that video for you folks down below, give it a look and see what's in store for retail World of Warcraft. As for WoW Classic, it opened its doors with a stress test this past week to all current subscribers in the NA and Oceanic regions for a couple of days, and yours truly got in. No fuss, no server queues, no crashes, no waiting. It was pretty smooth overall, and that's as far as I got. I don't want to touch or do too much in terms of content before it launches. And for those of you in the EU, don't worry if you feel left out. It's going to come your way very, very soon. Guild Wars 2 is welcoming back the Dragon Bash Festival to the game next week on the 25th for the first time since 2013. And it makes sense because we've recently defeated another Elder Dragon to add to the bone pile, and we've seen one of our own ascend. So it's time to celebrate. Taking place in Holbrak, the Dragon Bash features plenty of events to participate in, from holographic fights to races to Dragon Arena waves of enemy killing, and all in all it sounds like a great addition this year to break the monotony of the usual events found in TERA, and I for one am looking forward to checking out all the new rewards to level up my fashion wars. In other Guild Wars 2 news, ArenaNet will be removing language linking restrictions for EU worlds moving forward as they prepare for the World vs. World restructuring. They've announced this a while back on the official forums, and the news has since garnered a mixed reception. Some like the idea now of being able to interact with more EU players of all languages, while others may be recalling prior bad experiences of having multiple languages in chat or having groups of different language players all grouped up. Either way, it's a time to test the world and see how population and numbers do with linking removed. In the meantime, what do you EU folks think about this? Let me know down below. Elsewhere, the big day for Astellia is approaching. This Korean MMORPG that's heading to the west will be opening up its CBT, closed beta testing phase 1, next week on the 25th of June, and all players who own the legendary package that costs $100 will get access and can already pre-download the client. Now, these folks can bring a friend with them because they got a second buddy code. I know this because I got one, and I'll be giving that away randomly on my Patreon later this weekend. So if you are on my Patreon, keep a lookout for that email. But for the rest of you, don't fret. Keys for the CBT are being given away for fun on the official Facebook and Twitter and other places. As for CBT1 itself, The purpose is clear, as mentioned on their official website. It is to test the PvE progression systems and the technical side of things for the server, all in an effort to gather data, incorporate that feedback before things get finalized for live, and it will be quite different from the final version at launch. For starters, the tutorial will follow the Korean version of the game, among other things, and much of what Astellia has said it will do differently from Korea, like removing gender locks and stuff, won't be finalized until a much later date, but it does sound like they're committed to keeping their word on the play-to-win aspects instead of pay-to-win, on top of removing all the other Korean tropey stuff. I will be live streaming from CBT1 next week, so stay tuned for some thoughts and gameplay. A couple of big news from Star Wars The Old Republic now. First up, there will be changes to the game's free-to-play and preferred status models. The credit cap will be increased to 1 million credits for both F2P and preferred players. Free-to-play players will also get a total of 3 quick bars now, while preferred will get 5. Medical probe revives and quick travel skills are also now open to all players and no longer just for subscribers. These are minor improvements for free-to-play players, or preferred players, which are players who have spent money in the past, and it's about time SWTOR updated this if they're serious about taking the game forward. And secondly, for Star Wars The Old Republic, the Nar Shaddaa Nightlife event returns, and you can snag rewards by playing the Smuggler's Luck and Kingspin bounty slot machines found in the event. Rewards includes companion customization, armor sets and mounts, and only redeemable by turning in golden certificates at the vendors in their respective casinos. Over in Middle-earth, the summer festival has arrived on the Lord of the Rings Online, and it will run until July 10, featuring new cosmetics to grab like the shield and cloak on screen right now. Separately for LOTRO, there are reports about the 64-bit client crashing at time of recording this, so if you are experiencing the same or if they've been resolved for you, do let us know in the comments. Gamigo's free-to-play modern classic MMO Rift dropped a video teaser last Sunday on Facebook, showing off a few seconds of what looked like a maze puzzle, which they have confirmed it is a new maze puzzle dimension thing that players can expect to complete. I don't even know. Are there rewards? Is this the type of new content to expect moving forward, or is it just a seasonal one-off? Who knows, but this thing goes live on the 22nd, so check it out and let us know. NEVERWINTER is celebrating its 6th anniversary this week, so that means the Protector's Jubilee event has returned for another year. The event will run until the 27th of this month, during which all players will get freebies and can participate in events like Elminster's Messages that takes you around the Sword Coast to earn figurines that can be traded in for rewards. There's other events too, like the Speech Skirmish, escort missions, and more, and all of them will reward you with Protector's bounties to start stacking the loot and grab some shiny new stuff, including this Throne of the Vampire Lord. A couple of weeks ago, Albion shed some light about the upcoming character and item customization plus mount skins in the next update called PERCIVAL, and this past week we got more info about what players can expect in the update itself, dropping on July 10. The highly anticipated solo randomized dungeons are getting improvements, such as new mobs, boasting never-seen-before appearances, animations, spells, and abilities, which means you won't get bored out of your mind after having farmed the same monsters over and over in previous updates like in town expeditions. PERCIVAL will also have quality of life improvements, like the upgrading and streamlining of personal banks. There's a new 20 versus 20 city battle PvP, and the separate language channels for chat. PvP-centric medieval MMO GLORIA VICTIS has had a very busy past few weeks, stringing together a bunch of massive updates for their game. A recent developer log highlights all the new additions and improvements, including siege engines with flaming projectiles, new world events involving hunting NPCs in the wild, which obviously can invite PvP to occur at any time if the other two factions are doing the same thing. There's new rankings, and finally a guild heraldic update in which players can now display their guild emblems created with the in-game editor on their shields, and that's pretty cool. Bless Online may be shutting down in September, but Bless Unleashed for the Xbox One is very much still heading toward release, and this past week NeoWiz has showed off a new trailer all about field bosses that players will face in the open worlds. And as the name implies, field bosses are meant to be tackled in groups of players for a variety of rewards, and you could probably solo them if you wanted to, who knows. There's still no clear release or launch date yet for Bless on the console, and if this is indeed the game you're looking forward to, hang tight then, we should get some news before summer ends. Hey, remember TERA Origins? If not, way back in April, Bluehole announced a prequel game to its MMORPG TERA for mobile devices called Origins, and this week we finally got gameplay footage to show off. And I'll be damned, that definitely looks like TERA, a light version of it anyway, to be played on Android or iOS. And if you're in Japan, you can already register for the beta. There's about 5,000 spots open for both Android and iOS, but I'm not sure how many are left now. No Western version announcement just yet, but you know what, it's definitely happening now, this MMO mobile trend. We've already seen mobile versions for Korean MMOs like Ion and Black Desert and more hitting the market, and out of those, BDOs and now TERA's, I have to say, has gameplay that's more reminiscent of its PC MMORPG versions, which could be a plus for some of you out there or those of you that are curious about playing mobile MMOs on the go of your favorite IPs. Just be cautious and wary of the free-to-play microtransaction stuff that happens with mobiles, because it's a lot more vicious than on PC, I'll tell you that. And that's all I've got, folks. It's going to be a very busy week ahead with all the stuff happening, from WoW's new release, Guild Wars 2's new event, Astellia CBT, and then Shadowbringers for Final Fantasy XIV launching at the end of the week. I'm going to be everywhere, so stay tuned for more vids. Hit the like button if you enjoy the content, and feel free to subscribe to the channel and get notified on all my latest uploads. Once again, I'm Adrian, and I thank you for watching. Hey folks, thanks so much for watching that video. If you guys want to watch more, you can click the subscribe button at the bottom there or somewhere over here. And don't forget to hit that bell to get notified on all my latest videos. So I'll see you guys at the next vid. Take care.